The views expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station. Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan. This is a Channel 11 News public affairs program dealing with the issues affecting those in the community as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights.
Welcome to this week's edition of Insights. This week we talked to Adrienne Thompson, the first female firefighter in the department's 140-year history. So I think this is absolutely amazing. Adrienne, can you tell me a little bit about your childhood and how you got here today?
Well, since I was a little girl, I was raised to be a hard worker. We always cut firewood, burned wood all winter. So, I mean, growing up, you had to help the whole family. You had to, do your part to get the family through the winter. And I think just from that led into my jobs in the future, to be a really hard worker, to get where I wanted to be, to, get what I needed. And so, I mean, I think that's helped me out a lot, just to be a really good worker.
And you're from the Alpena area, right?
I am, yeah. I was born and raised in Ossipee, yeah. So 29 years.
That's great. And did you have anyone to look up towards, any firefighters in your family?
Well, I did, but I didn't know it. My grandfather, he was a fireman on the Sanborn Township Fire Department before I was born. And I didn't even know about it until after I'd gotten into the business. And my grandmother told me about it. I had no idea. I guess I was just drawn to it.
Yeah, it was kind of already in your blood.
Yeah.
So he kind of a little bit inspired you, though. I mean, you're just being a hard worker and going through all of that, and then finding out later that he was a firefighter. Did that kind of inspire you?
Well, it was really neat. It was, I guess, something we shared that I had no idea, because that was just before I was even born. I think it's really neat. I really like it, and I could talk to my grandmother about it, and she's so proud.
Yeah. And so, did you go to school to study paramedics or EMT, or what did you go to school to study?
Yeah, well, I got my EMT basic here, and then I ended up going to Baker College to get my paramedic license. The fire, I went through the fire academy at the air base here. That took, altogether, it's probably maybe 3 years for all of them.
And were you the only woman in the fire academy also?
No, there's other women. Out of the surrounding departments, the township departments, there's women on a lot of them actually. So I'm just the only one in town.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit how you got here to the public safety facility and got this job with the city fire department?
Well, this had always been my goal. Since I started, I always wanted to work at the Alpena City Fire Department. And so I applied years ago. I didn't make it. And so I applied the second time, and Chief Forbush gave me a chance. He said, I think you can do it. And so he put me on, and I'm still here.
So yeah, how many years has it been now?
It's been just over a year and a half. So, yeah.
So when you first got here, being a female and basically a male-dominated business, can we talk a little bit about that and how that was when you first got here?
It was hard. It was very hard. There's a lot of testing. They test you when you first start, because when I came into the Alpena Fire Department, they said we're not going to make exceptions for you. You've got to do everything we're going to do. And so when you, example, like if you get a heavy patient that even they struggle with picking up, we just 4-point it, 4 of us get on, and we do it. We do everything they do. So.
That's right. And so what was the reaction from the other male firefighters?
Oh, it was hard. Well, when I started, there was a lot of changes they had to make as well. There's a bathroom upstairs that they ended up having to give up to me, which turned into my locker room / bathroom. That was one that, the guys here, since this station was built, they always went to that bathroom, or they shower now and take their time or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I come in and they don't use it anymore. There's a lot of changes. Manners, I heard, have improved. And it's a fire station. It's kind of like their man cave.
Exactly.
And then a woman comes in, and there's a lot of changes. But I feel like I fit in just fine now. They're like brothers and just like family.
So so definitely now you feel that you've gained the respect, and it's been a positive year and a half, right?
Oh yeah, it's been very positive. I learned a lot. When I came in too, they had said, I knew it was going to be hard. You never really expect it to be as hard as it is, but I guess you really want something, you're going to work hard to get there. You're going to go through the ups and downs. And I did, and I'm still here, so I love it.
What does that say, you know, to like young girls that they can do this?
Oh yeah. If you really truly want to do something, you work your butt off and you will do it. If you really, really try, you can do anything you want to do. There's no exceptions. You can do it. Yeah. There's nothing we can't do.
Have young girls come up to you and say, you know, I want to be a paramedic, I want to be a firefighter now because, you know, you can do it?
Yes, we get a lot of tours coming through with a lot of little girls, and they just can't believe that I'm here. And then they start thinking, I can do that. I've had a lot of them tell me, yeah, I want to be a firefighter when I grow up. It's like, you can. Yeah, just gotta do it.
Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, what your day-to-day looks like? I mean, like you said, you have to do everything else. You have to do the same things that the men do here. Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, what you have to do here?
Yeah, well, right now on my shift, I'm kind of the low man on the totem pole, low woman. So I have to do all the chores around the station. I do the laundry, clean the dishes.
Laundry, the dishes.
Oh, everything. It's just like at home. You have regular chores at home. It's the same here. Yep. And so it's always the rookie's job to make sure everything gets done. Right now, that's still me. So, yeah.
That's still fun though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And so, do you still get picked on by the other firefighters?
Yeah, well, I pick on them too. It goes back and forth, yeah. I think we pick like brothers and sisters, you know, pick on each other. So, as far as mean things, there's not so much of that anymore. It was in the beginning, the testing stage, but we're just like siblings, like family, yeah.
What is one of the perks of being a female firefighter? I know you were telling me before, you can get into those small places that they can and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little bit about the perks of being a female firefighter?
Well, being out in the community, it's kind of nice when you see people that have seen you on TV, or they know who you are. I saw you on TV, you know, things like that.
That's a lot of fun though. And so, you know, like you said, when girls come in and you're giving them tours and stuff, it's really spark the fire in young girls to actually do something.
It does. I mean, when I went to school, I don't think I ever saw a female firefighter. Well, I guess I did, not in the career position or in the volunteer position, so it was never even an option to me until I started doing it. I thought, hey, I can do that. I'm going to do that, yeah.
And like you said, you always wanted to work at the city fire department. Why is that? Why not the townships? Why not back on Osnewick? Why this one?
Well, in this area, the Alpena City Fire Department is the only career one that is medical and fire both. We do transport to the hospital. Medical is a big part of this department. And so if I were on the volunteer ones, it's just from home, and you don't get to do the whole thing where you take the patient to the hospital and, you know, see what happens with them and really try and help them as much as you can as getting to the hospital. So this is the one in town, around town, that does that. I want to be part of that.
So yeah, what do you like better? Do you like being on the fire truck or in the ambulance better?
I like the ambulance.
Yeah.
Fire is very hard. It's exhausting. You gotta stay physically fit for that. The medical is, you get to use your head a lot. I mean, you're thinking of what can be wrong with people and how to treat them and help them. And I really like the medical the most. That's what really drew me in.
So you're definitely going to continue on this path here at the fire department, and
definitely, yeah. There's no going back. Now that I'm here, as much as I went through to get to where I am now, I wouldn't let that go.
Great. Well, thank you, Adrienne. Thank you so much for inviting us to come to the public safety facility and telling us a little bit about your story.
Yeah.
Well, stick around because next we're going to hear from Fire Chief Bill Forbush. Welcome back to Insights. Now, joining me now is Fire Chief Bill Forbush. Now, Bill, how long have you been chief for?
Well, here in Alpena, just over 2 years, 9 years in total, came from downstate, and just loving it here in Alpena. Great community.
And can we talk a little bit about, you know, where does your department service to, you know, where around the city?
Well, no, that's an interesting point. We do fire, confined space, specialized rescue, hazardous materials, all hazards emergency response within the city of Alpena, 9 square miles, but we also contract with the county of Alpena to provide paramedic ambulance to all of Alpena County, or about 1,700 square miles. So it's a very wide area that we service. and we work hand in hand with the first responder agencies and volunteer departments in each of those other communities.
And they're all EMS too, the firefighters also, right?
Yes, everyone is both a firefighter and a paramedic.
So now Adrienne Thompson is the first female fighter in the department's 140-year history. You know, what do you think, why do you think more women have not joined the fire station?
Well, years ago it was a traditionally male profession, but that really has changed a lot over the years. And Adrienne had some previous experience with Hillman Ambulance and some other EMS agencies. She'd gone to school to become both a firefighter with Sanborn Township and also with her EMS training. And so she came to us fully trained and fully ready to work, and has worked out very, very well.
And Adrienne tells me that the first time around she did not get hired, but you're the one that did hire her. What did you see in her?
I saw potential in Adrienne, and that has paid off absolutely. She has a wonderful spirit. She's a very hard-working person, very determined person. She certainly is a calming influence on emergency scenes with citizens, and she does a very good job. We chose well.
And you know, before you came to Alpena, when you were a firefighter, you worked with women in other stations.
Yes.
And so how does she compare to, you know, the other women that you have worked with?
Oh, very favorably. I think that women have an excellent role in the fire service. The key is that they need the same qualifications, the same training, the same attributes, and Adrienne has all of those. She does a great job.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. So you have to train her all the same as you do the male firefighters?
Absolutely. There's no difference at all. She's fully capable to do the same thing the guys can do.
And yeah, how does she compare to the male firefighters, do you think?
She does well. You know, everyone has their own personality and their own strengths that they're good at or they're not as good at, and she's no different in that area. We all are. But she does very well at everything that we need her to do. She does a great job, and we're really happy to have her on board.
And how was she when she first started out? And that was a year and a half ago when she was here. You know, how did she first start out?
A little bit meek, like any probationary firefighter. We have a new one right now. Caleb Borchardt just started with us, and he's just starting out, and he's kind of cautious, and she was the same way. But it doesn't take long until you get your sea legs and kind of get rolling, and she's assimilated beautifully to the organization. Really gets along well. And
so you've seen her, you know, grown the past
Absolutely.
year and a half.
Absolutely. Particularly as a paramedic. We're a much higher volume agency than some of the others in northern Michigan. And so she's been exposed to a lot of different kinds of emergencies and a lot more run volume. We do a little over 5,000 runs a year, so she's very, very busy. And in gaining that experience, she's gotten sharper and sharper and really growing not only in her comfort level, but also in her expertise.
So you think it is like a huge benefit to have a woman on board at the city fire station?
Oh, absolutely.
What kind of things, you know, can she do that, you know, the male firefighters can't do?
Well, there isn't a lot of difference. A firefighter is a firefighter most of the time. But there are times that there can be an advantage, sometimes with a female patient or with a female resident at a fire or some other type of emergency. She may be more reassuring in those kinds of situations. She's real good with little kids, and so that's a positive thing. But she can do all the same things that the guys can do, and the guys can do the same things that she can. It really is kind of a one-size-fit-all kind of situation.
And so, like, the initial response from the other male firefighters, was it kind of weird when she first started out? Did you think it was like it was a big change for them?
It was certainly a big change, but they adapted beautifully, and there really was no problem, no rub whatsoever. The guys have gotten along very, very well with her, and she's worked hard to make sure of that.
And so you definitely think, you know, her being a female firefighter is definitely going to inspire, you know, young girls to maybe think about this field.
Absolutely, and it's a great field to do. It's a very physical field. There's a lot of really hard work that needs to be done. And she's a very active outdoors type person. She hunts avidly, she rock climbs and ice climbs and all kinds of things. Very, very active gal. In fact, on the front page of her resume when she first applied, there was a picture of her and this huge buck that she had killed.
Oh, wow.
And that really, I think, was a good move because it said right at the beginning, look, I'm an active, go-getter kind of person, and she has proven to be that.
But you definitely have had to make a little changes to the station. You know, she has her own bathroom now and stuff like that. How was that, you know, kind of changing the station around a little bit?
It was just a little bit. It was built to accommodate if that were ever to happen. It just had never happened. So there was already a ladies' restroom on the second floor near the bunk room, and it hadn't been used much in the past, and now it is, and it really is no big deal. She fits in beautifully.
She does, definitely. And so, like you said again, all the same training, no special circumstances for women that,
That's correct.
that joins into this department.
Nope, the standard has to be the same, and she has met the standard.
That's great. Well, thank you, Chief Forbush, for joining me.
Thank you.
And joining me next, we'll hear from Adrian Thompson's fellow firefighter, Jim Stocklewitz. Welcome back to Insights. We're now sitting with Jim Stocklewitz in the Public Safety Facility building, and he is a fellow firefighter of Adrian Thompson, works on the same shift as her. So let's talk about a little bit about how it's working. How is it working with Adrian?
Working out good. We've treated her as any other rookie that comes into the department. She gets assigned the dirty jobs as the lowest senior person in the shift. But as she came in, everybody's tried to help her, work with her, show her the ropes. I've taken her through the fire trucks, worked with her on pumping, and a couple other people have taken her out working on driving.
How long have you been with the fire station for?
Almost 18 years now.
And out of your whole 18 years, how does Adrian compare to the other fellow firefighters you worked with?
Well, I would say that she's average. We've had some that have come in that didn't work out and did not pass the probationary period. The fact that she has passed the probationary period speaks volumes for her. The fact that she's female, some people will look at it as, well, that's a great thing. I've worked with females in the past when I worked downstate. I've had no problems working with them as long as they can do the job. I don't have a single problem with that.
And the first one here in 140-year history, what was it first like when she first walked in the door here?
When she first came in, it was kind of walking like on eggshells. We had known her from when she did her paramedic training, so she had been around the department, had been around us, we got to know her. So it wasn't that bad as it would have been if she was coming from another area and didn't really know anybody. The fact that we knew her made it a lot easier for us, and it was just kind of getting acclimated to each other and learning each other's routines.
And now that she's been here for a year and a half, there's certain things you've had to give up, like your bathroom. Or a bathroom.
It was a bathroom. Technically, it's always been a female bathroom, and we've tried to abide by that. But not having a female around in the area, and the area where that restroom was at was utilized by the males just because it was an extra facility to use. The fact that she has come in and we actually were able to turn that into her locker room also, so it saved us an extra locker in our locker room.
And she's definitely inspired young girls to look at this as a career. How do you think that is, for your guys' department to see more women come through?
That's excellent. The important thing to remember is that this job isn't for everybody. There are some people that can do it, some that can't. Whether it's male or female, it doesn't matter. It's the temperament of the person that allows them to do this job.
Like you said, so far Adrian has, definitely proved herself as a woman in a male-dominated business.
In this area, yes, it is a male-dominated area or business. Like I said, when I worked downstate, I worked with several female firefighters, and the attitude has always been, as long as they can pull their own weight, do the job the way it's supposed to be done, then they're going to fit right in, and there won't be any problems.
So when you're on the same shift as her, what does your day-to-day look like?
What is our day-to-day?
Well, when you're on the same shift as her, what do you guys, work on?
It varies depending on the day, whether they have a busy ambulance day or we have multiple fire calls. It just kind of depends. Adrian has her routines as to what is expected of her as what we call the rookie on the shift, because she is the lowest senior person. So there's certain duties that she has to do, and then the rest of us have our own duties that we take care of.
And like you said, the other fellow firefighters and yourself have helped her learn how to, all the kind of tactics in this department.
Right. We've all worked with her at different times. We've done drills with our air packs, drills with our fire gear. I've taken her out with the fire truck, working with pumping the fire truck. Other people have taken her out with driving. We've all kind of worked with her on her medical skills, and so far she's proved herself to be able to handle everything.
And as a woman firefighter, what can she do more that, a male can't do when it comes to certain situations?
Given her size and stature, she can actually fit in areas that most men cannot, which is advantageous for her and advantageous for us that she can fit into those areas.
So that's definitely, a plus for your guys' station.
Right.
Well, thank you for joining us, and thanks for, talking a little bit about Adrian and being her fellow firefighter.
Thank you.
Now we just spoke to the fire chief, Adrian, and Adrian's fellow firefighter to get an inside look into the day in the life of an Alpena City firefighter. We also got an inside look into a woman's role in a mainly male-dominated business. Thanks for joining me for this week's edition of Insights. We'll see you next week.
Insights into Northeast Michigan has been a Channel 11 News public affairs program. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email us at the web address on the screen. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.